Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on the radio, iacradio.media. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. And we have another television station coming up shortly. I'll let you know that just as soon as it happens. I'm really excited about that. I have everybody's favorite talk show host. He really knows a lot about the sporting world. His name is AP Steadham. He is also a talk show host within his own rights. AP and Kelly, as we see it. And wow, you've been to the Rose Bowl. I'm excited for you and jealous at the same time, AP.
Hey Donna, thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was a great week or so in Pasadena, California, covering the Rose Parade and being at the game yesterday, Alabama versus Michigan, number 4 Alabama, number 1 Michigan. Fantastic game. The weather was superb. It was a perfect afternoon, early evening for football, bright and sunny day. Terrific. Loved it.
Well, lots of exciting things. It was a nail biter for sure. We both predicted that. We also predicted it could be a low scoring, just like one of. I think we both got that right. But let's talk about pregame. So Albertville, Alabama had a band there as well. And so let's talk about all that. A lot of fantastic things happened.
Yeah, Albertville. I think that was their 3rd time in the Rose Parade down. They've been in the Macy's Day Parade probably multiple times as well. Excellent band. I was able to see them in the parade, and it was fun. All the high school bands done. I think if you didn't know, you thought it might be a college band. That's the level of excellence with these high school bands that are chosen and selected to be in the Rose Parade. But Albertville, it was terrific. They came near the end of the parade. I can't remember the number. There's about 100 or so entries in the parade. Floats, bands, the equestrian teams, and the automobiles and all types of things. But yeah, they were excellent.
Well, they also have been known to put a little rhythm into the band as well as they're marching. Did you see the rhythm this time?
I did. Yeah, they had great rhythm. I like to always listen to the drum beat for each particular band. And if it catches my attention, then there certainly was different than others. And I really like watching them. And it was so fun to watch them. I had seen them many years ago down, and I think it was 1988 in the Macy's Day Parade. So it was a few years, but they're still very, very good.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, it was quite the accomplishment. Absolutely. So now let's talk about the parade within itself. Give us some bits and pieces.
Yeah, Don, that was on Colorado Boulevard. I was on station number 2. So we were about, there was 3 levels. So I think I was on the first level. We were about, 15 to 20 feet in the air. Then the people behind me, 2nd and 3rd level. And that was Colorado Boulevard and St. John's. I believe that was the name of the street. So the parade made the turn probably about 600 yards to my left on Colorado Boulevard. And they would come down a slight incline right towards us. And the sun was shining and it was beautiful. And they started the parade with the police motorcycles. There was maybe there was 7 or 8 of them, and they did a little rotation in the center of the road in circles, and it was synchronized. It was really cool to watch those motorcycles from the police. They had their own little show to start the parade and clear the path.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been there. And there were other ball games that have been played also this week, but the big one always stands out wherever Alabama is.
Right.
And I will tell you, we've already had some rumors of, Coach Saban not coming back. And I'm not even get to that, but that happens every single year. If it ever really does happen, we're not going to be shocked. I mean, we'll be like, well, we've been talking about this for a long time. But let's talk about the ball game. What were some surprises?
Yeah, surprise. Don, I just wanted to backtrack for a second. I took a photo of I think it was every entry in the parade. They can see it on my Facebook page and our show page. They can go back and look. I took hundreds of photos, and I put over maybe 300 photos up there, so they can look at every entry of the parade, including Albertville High School. But the surprises of the game, I wanted to see if Michigan had the speed, because that's always the question when the Big Ten plays an SEC team. But right off the bat, they blitzed the quarterback 2 times. They sacked Jalen Milroe 6 times. So they definitely came off that edge fast and hard. They guarded Alabama's wide receivers who did not have uh, minimal explosive plays in ball game. They showed Alabama to a low. I think it was 288 yards for the season for the entire ball game. Alabama, they went back and forth. Michigan took the lead, then Alabama took the lead, and then Michigan had it tied up, and they went for the lead at the end in the overtime. But I think that one of the surprises, the ultimate surprise, was the last play of the game, because it was 4th and goal. Alabama had to score. They were behind 27-20. They lined up, put the running back in motion. So there was just the quarterback in the backfield by himself, Jalen Milroe. They snapped the ball. The right tackle got thrown into the path, and he tripped, and they stopped him on the, I think it was a 2 or 3 yard line, and that was the ball game. So that was a surprise, because Michigan knew that they were going to put the ball in the hands of Jalen Milroe. That's Alabama's best playmaker, the quarterback. And so when you run straight at them, I mean, they were coming at you in full force from the middle. So I was surprised that was the play call. They didn't try to give him an option to have the ball for 5 or 6 seconds, or let's say 3 to 5 seconds, to make a different type of play. I mean, there were options in the play, but he made a quick decision. The ball was received, the snap was slightly low, and he ran straight towards the goal line, and they stopped him. It wasn't even close.
Wow, that was some game. I'm just telling. Were you surprised at the score at all?
No, we had spoken, Donna, about the game being in the 20s, and the winner would be a 1 score or less game. And it turned out to be the touchdown in the overtime. But I thought, and my premise for the game was, if Alabama would have the edge if Jalen Milroe had an exceptional game. He had 100 and something, 12 yards, I think, rushing down, but he lost 49 because they sacked him 6 times. So he ended up with a net of about 63 yards rushing. Okay, that's average. That's maybe a little bit below average for Jalen Milroe. So they were able to corral him and contain him enough times, not all the time. And he had some explosive plays in there, 10, 15 yards, a couple of them. But overall, Michigan did a good job with containing Alabama's speed on the edge. So I thought that if Michigan can contain him, they would probably win. If Alabama was able to get on the edge or have Jalen Milroe scramble on these spontaneous plays, they would win the ball game, but they didn't make enough of them. Alabama was fairly good in the kicking game. They made the 2 50-yard field goals, 50 and 50-plus yard field goals, so that was good for Reichard. But Michigan missed their only field goal attempt, 48, 49 yards, and they had some muffs on the punt. I mean, especially at the end, near the end of the game, where the Michigan punt returner, when you're in the 10-yard line, Donna, you're not supposed to catch the ball. You're supposed to pretend like you're going to catch it and run up and then let the ball bounce and go into the end zone. But he almost made a critical mistake for a 2-point safety almost in that game. Alabama would have been ahead. But Michigan played well. They're a strong defensive team. They showed they were very good on that side of the ball. Number 1 in the country, allowing just 9 points a game. They gave up 20 to Alabama. So it was like I thought, a game in the 20s. The winner would be by 1 score or less.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it turned into. Were you surprised that it went into overtime?
Well, I was not surprised, because I knew it was going to be close. So at the end, they tied it up. I mean, and they made that great drive with 4 minutes plus remaining on the clock. They had to have a touchdown, and they came through. I mean, that was clutch by their quarterback, by their offensive team, by the play calling. There was a 4th down in there. They made about 30 yards, and they had the penalty, 15 yards back. But no, I was not surprised that the score was tied at the end of the game, went to overtime. No, I was not.
Well, you know something? It was a good game. It was a close game.
Oh, yeah.
What does this do for next season with Alabama? Does this put them a little higher up in the ranks?
Well, I think they'll still remain high up in the ranks, Donna, as long as Nick Saban's around, because of the recruiting class. Jalen Milroe returns at quarterback, so they have some experience there at the most important position. Defensively, we'll see who they lose. But I think they need to get more options on offense, I think, because this year was really, when things would fail, they looked at Jalen Milroe to bail them out, run around and make some plays. And that's nice, and that's very good, complimentary towards him. But I don't think you can rely on it when you're playing the the difficult teams, you need the better execution. Michigan surprised me with their play calling in the red zone. They had people wide open. There was one play down on the touchdown. The quarterback could have thrown to two people. They were so wide. There was nobody guarding them, two people. So they defeated Alabama with their play calling and their scheme. And even on defensively, they had those blitzes. Alabama never adjusted. You have 6 sacks in a game, Donna, in a championship type environment. That's way too many. You're looking to have maybe 2 the entire game. 6. Alabama, Donna, and I'll have to look this up. They ended up with 49 sacks for the year. The quarterback for Alabama was sacked 49 times. And think about it, Donna. He's a mobile quarterback. What if it was a different type of quarterback that's just dropped backs and is not very good escaping the rush? 49. I mean, there's only 133 teams. I don't know what Alabama's going to end up, but it's got to be way down there, 120 something, maybe even 130 for all I know. But you're talking about the worst in the country, Donna. And you have an offensive line that all these players are highly recruited, and you're not blocking for your quarterback. And that's a combination sometimes, Donna, of the quarterback holding the ball too long as well. So we're saying it's a team statistics. We're not saying it's all on the offensive line, but mainly on the offensive line, and then the play calling and not adjusting to those blitzes and the schemes, the defensive schemes that the other teams are employing to defend Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, AP, every successful person, a coach or in business, they probably beat up on themselves more than anybody else does. What do you think Saban is thinking right now? If you could be a fly on the wall.
Right. I'm thinking that he was not satisfied defensively with the red zone defense because there was confusion and they did not adjust to the motion that Michigan was using on those offensive plays to score touchdowns. He's probably saying we have to do better when we're in that red zone and they're trying to scheme to confuse us. And our defensive backs, linebackers, we're not picking up the receivers coming out of the backfield or in motion or on the route. So that's a severe deficiency on Alabama's part defensively when you're not able to guard in the red zone, because that's critical. You want to hold people, they get in the red zone, you want to hold them to field goals, but Michigan was 3 for 3 in the red zone area. And they just dominated in that area because the touchdowns, like I say, they were wide open, some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania. and was named Public Defender for the City of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central. That is Central Time. As we get to ride home with you in the afternoon, you can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. An announcement coming up in just probably less than 2 weeks. We'll let you know about that when it happens. I have AP Steadham with me right now. We've been talking about the Rose Bowl, and I want to tell you, it was a nail biter and a half, but there were also other bowl games and other ball games being played. So let's talk about a few of those.
Yes. I guess people wanted to discuss the Georgia versus Florida State game in the Orange Bowl. Now, Florida State, Donna, I saw them play in person. Very impressive. They had excellent wide receivers, running back, the quarterback, defensively outstanding. They held LSU to 24 points. Nobody did that all season. But they had so many players opt out, Donna, that they were, and the only word I can use is the shell of the team. You know, sometimes you have a few players, but there was no resemblance to that team that played it, which is disappointing because they could have went 14-0. They could have made a statement by beating Georgia, a team that had won 29 in a row, lost to Alabama in the SEC championship game. Georgia came with their almost their full roster, and it was the biggest lopsided victory in bowl history, 63-3, 60-point victory. I mean, it was really difficult to watch that game. And I was interested to watch because I thought, well, we're going to use some of the second team players, third team players. It'd be competitive. They're good. They were highly recruited, but it wasn't even a contest, Donna. I mean, I think if Florida State came out with no defense on the field, and they couldn't have beat Georgia that day. I mean, they just were not ready to play. They didn't have the personnel, and their personnel was not experienced enough to play against Georgia. It was total domination. Like I say, all-time victory in bowl games, 63-3. So I was just so highly disappointed. And my thing, Donna, and I'll just make a statement about these players opting out. I mean, if you feel so strongly, they always say, we're brothers on the team, and they're on the sideline at the game. And I'm thinking,
Mhm.
you wouldn't leave your brother in a tough situation. So why do you opt out? You have a lot of teams that, let's say their record is 8-4 playing the bowl. Why didn't you opt out in the ninth game when you know that you weren't going to play for the championship? Why did you pick the 13th game to opt out? I mean, this idea that it's accepted, I don't accept it. That, oh, well, he opted out because he's going to get ready for the draft and doesn't want to be injured. Well, you could have been injured in the 10th game and you knew you weren't playing for a championship. Why didn't you just say, I'm leaving the team after the 10th game? I mean, this idea that I can leave at the end of the year not playing the bowl game, I don't accept it as being, oh, I understand because of the NFL draft and you're preserving your health. I don't accept it. I don't understand it.
I don't understand it either, because to me it would be this would be a pinnacle in my life to get to play in the bowl game.
Yeah, the Orange Bowl.
I don't understand why that was not even thought about.
Right. They make it like it's nothing. Like and people for years have made a scholarship like it's nothing. Well, when you have to pay out $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, that's something to make. When you're saying, oh, we're not getting anything. What do you mean? We're just giving you over $250,000 to receive an education and have all these opportunities to meet people, the top alumni at your university, at your college. So people are very dismissive of some of the benefits of receiving a scholarship, playing in a New Year's Day bowl game. That's a lifelong memory. And you're going to look back in 20 years from now and say, gee, my grandkids or something, my kids are asking me, well, why didn't you play in the game? I really don't have a good answer.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking of the future. You have to think of future prospects, job prospects, business prospects, whatever, who are going to remember you did that.
Oh, yes,
I mean, I would wonder, if you're a partnership in my business, are you going to go out? I mean, just one day, am I going to get a phone call from you? You're gone.
Right. Yeah. You were the MVP of a New Year's Day bowl. I mean, that's part of your cachet.
I get it.
Got it. Not everyone could say that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's part of your bio.
I went in there with it and just, I wouldn't even think about what.
Well, it's tolerated. See, Don, it's tolerated at this point. And until you have some uniformity in making players compete in the bowl game, you can have players opting out. I mean, you're getting 10, 15, 20 players not showing up for the game. It's outrageous in my mind.
But I'm looking at it also from the coach's perspective. Okay, I don't know. I may have just said, well, let's just not even go in because we're going to look like a high school football team.
Yeah, why don't you just decline the bid? I mean, just say, hey, we have 20 players that do not want to compete. We'll all stay home. And then you can explain to your brothers, like you call them, why I'm not going I'm a freshman. My big opportunity to play in a New Year's Day bowl, and I'm not going. It's all because of you. You told me you were my brother. You're opting out, and you'll have to explain it to them. That's the way I feel. I have strong feelings about it. Like I said, why don't you just opt out in the 8th game, the 7th game? I mean, if you're worried about being injured and you're saying, oh, I have to protect my ability to play professional football, even though I have an insurance policy. If you're really good, you have an insurance policy down. I don't know if people know that, but you can get an insurance policy. If you're a potential, draft in football, it used to be the first 3 rounds could be insured. And even if you're not in the first round, you can go out and buy your own policy if that's what you want. Lloyd's of London will insure anything, Donna, anything.
Oh yeah, they insured Betty Grable's legs. If they're going to insure someone's legs,
yeah. So I don't buy this. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't accept all the premise of, well, I understand because they're protecting your health for the NFL draft. You played in the 3rd game, didn't you? And you played in the 4th game, the 5th game, and all of a sudden now you can't play. I mean, but Georgia, and to their credit, their coaching staff, they convinced most of their players to compete. And you saw how they performed, top level, 63 points in a game, 9 touchdowns against Florida State, who was ranked ahead of them at the time.
I know there are a lot of variables for next season, but as you see it right now, AP and Kelly, as you see it right now, who do you think is going to be the top 5?
Oh, gee, yeah. Don, a lot of times you're looking at that quarterback who's returning. So But I mean, just based on the talent level that they recruit and their coaches staff, I mean, you look at the Michigans of the world and Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia. Can LSU come back after having the 3 losses this season? Can Texas, be entering the SEC in Oklahoma? Can Washington, now that's a team, that had a great ball game, beat Texas so in the Sugar Bowl for that's the college football semifinal. So they're going to be playing the championship. Washington, excellent team, outstanding coach. I mean, they're going to have a new quarterback. So, but if you're recruiting well and you have a coaching staff that year after year is putting you in contention for the elite championship or the playoff or high ranking, you're going to favor those teams. Oregon is a team, I think you're going to watch them with their coach now. Oregon, Washington from the West Coast, let's say, and they're entering the Big Ten. And Donna, let's make note that the 2 teams that will play in the championship game, Michigan and Washington, will be in the same conference next year, the Big Ten. And they've defeated two teams that will be in the SEC, Alabama and Texas. That's significant from their perspective. I'm sure they're going to remind us next year how the 2 Big Ten teams beat the 2 SEC teams in the college football playoff semifinal. So, and then you look, let's see if Clemson can rebound. Let's see what can happen with Florida State. So those are some of the teams you're thinking about. And Tennessee needs to recover. They had a big victory over Iowa. Iowa's a team that averaged 16 points a game down. They were shut out again. The last two times Iowa played, it was 26-zip against Michigan in the Big Ten championship. And now Tennessee defeats Iowa in the Citrus Bowl, 35-zip. And they had the new quarterback for Tennessee because Joe Milton III opted out once again for the NFL draft. And they brought in the highly recruited freshman, Nico Iamaleava. And I hope I'm saying that somewhat correct. It'll take me a moment to learn it, but it's Nico Iamaleava is the new quarterback for Tennessee. He had a good ball game. Yeah, they won 35-zip. So the Tennessee people should be happy with the future, and they were able to shut out Iowa from the Big Ten.
I think so. About a minute left in this segment. In AP's opinion, who is the coach of the year?
Yeah, the Washington coach, I think that's pretty spectacular what he did on the West Coast. They had that sensational quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., who transferred from Indiana. They were together at University of Indiana. And then he came to be the head coach at Washington. He was an assistant there in Indiana. That's been quite a journey to reach that level. He came in second in the Heisman, their quarterback did. And then now they beat Texas. They beat Oregon twice. They have a very good team and high scoring. And it's going to be quite a challenge as they play Michigan, both undefeated teams in the championship game in Houston, Texas, Monday, January 8th. So I think that coach from Washington, University of Washington, is be coach of the year.
AP and Kelly, as we see it, is actually aired here on the IC radio station on Fridays, Football Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time. Who are you going to be interviewing this week?
Oh, Don, I'm going to try to get somebody from the University of Washington to discuss their role in the championship game, I think. And we had somebody from Michigan, to discuss the game against Alabama the last couple of weeks. So I think I'm going to concentrate on that championship game, cap off the college football season. And we're going to have a recap of all the SEC, the bowl games, and make mention of their season and maybe forecast a little bit for the future too.
Absolutely. Great idea. AP, thank you so much for being on the show. Safe travels back home.
Thank you. And we always appreciate being on IC Radio, 4 p.m. Central on Fridays. AP and Kelly, as we said. Thank you, Donna.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's in North Alabama. You can also find us on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. An announcement coming up really soon with another television station. And also you can find our podcast on thenewscasters.com. Thank you so much for watching.